and Josue, they've got a demo for me, so I'm gonna walk them through and they're gonna actually do the demo themselves. I've never done this before. I'm excited about this, okay? So what you're gonna do, what you guys are gonna do is set it up just like Marvin did. Marvin was the magician and he got it set up where we can actually cut this thing. We had a hard time doing a scratch cut and improving a scratch cut. And we're going to talk about scratch cuts. Scratch cuts are very important on the AMMCO because we actually cut it on this machine and not on the car. So if this was on here and it was actually cocked a little bit and it went around like that, now, okay, let's picture it spinning doing this. And then let's say if we cut it. What's going to happen?
It's going to get
okay. Well, this machine can do that. Now, of course, you're not going to see it to the naked eye, but this can literally do this, and you can't see it literally, but it's actually doing this. You've got to make sure that this drum is perpendicular to this shaft. Okay. So the first thing you do, go ahead, Jesus. First thing you do is you want to set up the lathe. You first want to do is crank the side input. Go ahead and go all the way in and then go 3 strokes out. This is a good guideline to start, okay? And remember, this is just for drums. This is not for rotors.
So it's 1 stroke, 1 full turn?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking, yeah. Okay, go over there, okay. And then go 3 out, 1, 2, 3. Okay, now Josue is going to do the other thing with this. Now what's really important with this, you're going the wrong way. With this, is the farther this is out, the more of a chance that you're going to get a wobble, right? So we want this as closest to this arbor bearing as possible. Okay? So you go all the way in, then go 3 strokes out. That's a good guideline.
1 stroke, 2 stroke,
3 strokes. There you go.
Just like that.
All right. Now what we're going to do is set up the boring bar. So go ahead and put that on top. Yeah, that's it. You got it. That first. Okay, and remember, there's a little adjuster right here. It has to be tightened after we're ready, almost ready to cut. We don't just keep it loose now. Yeah, put the boring bar on now. Put it in there and just put it on there and just put it in the middle where it balances. Then you put the top on, and then there is a double washer. Remember, a double washer. Now look at this double washer. It has a thick and a thin one. I put the thick one on first, and then the thin one goes on second, and then we have the beautiful lock nut, okay? Do this every time, okay? Don't lose. If these things get lost, you don't see them, you come find me, and I got to go yell and scream and see what happened to them, okay? We got brand new equipment here this last year. The AMMCO guy came out here and tuned this up. Honestly, it's still a little old, shows a little age, but it works fine. I would trust this. Okay, now what we're gonna do is we gotta make sure that this drum, now these are all floating drums, right? They just come off easy. Now there are other drums out there, I wanna let you know, that you have to actually take the whole hub off with, right? Right? Like the old trucks, right? Okay. We're not going to demo those right now. These are more common, so we're going to do these. But I do promise by the end of the year, we're going to do ones that have the tapered wheel bearings. And those are actually a lot easier. They usually, okay, so what cone will we use? I have it set up pretty easy. Yeah, that's it. You got to make sure it doesn't fall through, that it works. See that? That's perfect. And then you got to get a cup. The cup's right there. Now, these cups we used before, we want the largest cup that fits in there.
I'll get to do it.
The bigger the better, okay? We're gonna use these because these are actually, we know that these are good. But if you can go smaller or bigger, always go bigger, okay?
Always go bigger.
Okay, always go bigger. Okay, and you always get the match. These cups go in matches, match them up. If you mismatch them, you'll never get a good square cut. So they're in sets, keep them together. Okay, so that one goes on first. Go ahead. Throw that on. Okay, what goes next?
Spring?
Spring, yeah. That's the one he used, right?
You guys don't have the...
Okay, spring. Here's the cone. Okay, I'm going to use that. And what that does is it centers it up, right? And then, go ahead and hold this. I'll put the drum on. And you can put that on. Okay, now it's all about a selection of washers and clutches and the nut. Okay, what we're gonna do is we use this and this. We did not use that. Okay, so go ahead. Go the other way. That one first. Yeah, there you go. That's how Marvin did it. And then this. Now this one is, you can tell, we have two of these too. One has threads right out to the end. The other side, see how it's threaded, doesn't start until about halfway in? Okay, yeah. So you put it on the way you feel like it's gonna work, okay? Okay, this is obviously gonna work on this way better. Okay, now, notice I'm turning left to tighten.
You're turning counter.
Left-handed, these are left-handed threads.
So when it spins,
Okay.
it can't run down.
That's the theory behind it, that's for sure. Okay. Now, what have we already done to the drum that we've done on our cars now, on the hub faces? What do? We clean them up with you did it on your car. The surface of the rotor, what'd you do?
Oh, I buffed it.
Buffed it with the wolf cookie, right? Okay. You do the same thing with this, both sides.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Okay.
And you take all that rust off, and it's nice and smooth, and so it'll be a better fit.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
You called it a wolf cookie?
I got wolf cookie. Sanding disc.
Oh.
I got a wolf. I know that was a
I
nickname.
kinda
Wolf cookie.
like
I like the
wolf
I like the wolf cookie too.
I know. You know what? I learned that. I learned that back in
I'll just call it circle.
1980 something, and I've just kept that name.
The circle.
A lot of people look at me and go, huh?
I like that. I'm
Okay, now we're going to do is we're going to put the band on it. Now this is the same thing like the chip deflector does on the Pro Cut. It eliminates vibration. You want to go ahead and give it a shot? It's pretty tricky. Yeah, 2 people make it really easy.
Ooh.
So yeah, go.
It looks good.
Yeah, what
That's
you
a
do now,
vibration,
now what I do is use the bearing. Now, basically, as soon as you get up, go ahead and turn it. As soon as you get there, now you can make it really tight. Tight as you can. The tighter the better.
Tight.
Yeah, tighter the better. And then go ahead and loop and then clip it in. See that? Okay.
I think that's a safety.
There you go. Okay, that's a good job. See, that's a good job.
a
That was a
safety
good job.
thing?
What?
Is that a safety thing? I don't want him to hurt himself.
What's the next step? Do you guys know right now?
250 or 200?
Scratch cut. Okay, but we first have to tighten this, right? So we have a light. Please use it. Nice and bright. Look at that. It'll blind your butt. Okay, now you want to do is now see, this is all loose. What you want to do is take it in and make the blade go all the way to the back. Okay, that now you know. Go ahead and take a look in there.
Here, you gotta go in there to see the blade.
Yeah, the blade goes all the way back to, it basically hits the backside of this, okay? This is where you tighten. Now go ahead and tighten them.
I want to take a look real quick if that's okay.
Yeah.
I'm just waiting for Alan.
Yeah, wait for Alan to, is
Okay. You get so many seconds on your smartphone, man. Okay.
Maxed out the recording time.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Okay. Now, come over here. You can tighten this now,
I'm talking about.
and then tighten the little screw. Now, this is when you tighten. Remember, you got 2 things to tighten on the boring bar. You got the top bolt, and then you got that little bolt that keeps it from pivoting. Okay.
So the pivot bolt.
The pivot bolt, yeah. See the little wrench there? And these wrenches always stay here. Do not move these wrenches.
Do not
We
move the
do
wrench.
not move these wrenches.
The reason he's saying that is because someone has moved it in the past, right? Countless times.
Yes.
And what would happen if you
That's
moved
why I
said
make the
wrenches?
big bucks. I put up with you people. No, I'm just kidding.
At least he's telling the
So wait,
truth.
Craig, what would happen?
Okay. Now we're at the very back, and now we're touching. Now, when we start it up, we don't want it touching. So what do? Now this is out 3 turns. So all we have to do is like maybe a half a turn. Go ahead, move the blade inward, a half a turn. Got it? Okay, this is loose, right? Yeah, that is loose. Okay, so we make sure we're not touching anymore. We're not touching it anymore, right? Go ahead and fire it up.
Uh-oh.
This is where we fire it up. Okay, now we have to do this. We have to test it. Now this is how you test, making sure this thing is not wobbling on there. Now how does it look? If you look at it by the naked eye, does it look okay?
Yeah.
You go right here. Looks pretty good, huh? The naked eye looks pretty good. Okay. So what we're going to do, now go ahead and we're going to, now remember this, lay this set up, the blade does not move. What moves? The drum moves. So we're going to move the drum this way. Be careful because we're all at the end. Make sure you go the right direction. Go out just a couple turns. Okay, that's good right there. Now we're going to make our first scratch cut. Go ahead. And he knows what you want to do is barely touch it. Just barely touch it. Because you just want to make a little mark, a partial mark is all you want. There you go, back up. Okay, right there. That's enough. Okay, yeah, okay, you heard that? There's going to be a mark there, right? Go ahead and turn it off. And now go ahead and move it out a little bit more so we can do our next cut. Just a little bit. You did right. Yeah, that's right. Okay, right there. You want to make it about a half, you want to make your next mark a half a mark over. But now you're going to take, go ahead, take that. No, you got to, remember, loosen this up. Now what we're going to do is we're going to spin the drum or the cones 180. And we're going to find out if the mark is still going to be at the same spot. That's what we're going to do.
And if it's not?
And if it's not, we got to usually take everything apart and clean everything, make sure there's no chips or burrs or anything. But if it is fine, then you're ready to cut. Okay? That proves that this thing is perpendicular to the arbor. The arbor is the shaft.
Okay.
Okay? And you're going to tighten it. Okay. Yeah. So this has to be done every time you put this on here, right? You gotta do a scratch test. If it passes, move on. If it doesn't, sometimes you can do is do a third scratch test. You can twist this one more time, and sometimes it seats in and works fine. That's fine. Normally after the second one, I'm taking it off and cleaning it.
Ready?
Okay, ready. Go ahead. Let's do that scratch test again. Go ahead. We already moved it out. So be very careful. Remember, we just turned this, so it's going to be hard to see this stuff. Okay, there we go. Turn it off. Let's see. Okay.
How is it?
With this.
Okay, I see one of them. Where's the other one? Right there? There it is. Yeah, there it is. See that they're parallel? What you're looking at is two parallel lines. When they're parallel, you're ready to cut. Can you figure out in your head why this works? It's kind of hard to wrap your head around this. But what we did is we moved the cups 180 and it's still cut on the same spot. So that's assuming, we can assume that it's all parallel or perpendicular, sorry. Wrong geometry term, right? Yeah, there's a lot of geometry in automotive. You're going to find out.
Parallel is like this is perpendicular.
Yeah,
This is perpendicular.
that's what we want. We want perpendicular. We got the shaft, and then we got this. So we're good, huh? You see that? Everybody see two parallel lines. That means this is fine. So we're ready for the cut. So now what do we do now?
We gotta tighten this part.
What?
Well, we gotta bring it inside.
We gotta basically, now we do is make our, it sounds like you're doing this, okay? So go ahead, you're gonna first unlock it. If you try to adjust it without unlocking it, it's not gonna move. So you gotta go ahead and unlock it. Why don't we go 4 thousandths? Go ahead and go to the 4, and then lock it down, and then let's do a fast cut. Okay, yeah, see, right now he's adjusting the speed of the feed. Now the Pro Cut doesn't have that, right? Pro Cut has one speed only. This one, you can adjust your speed. First cut, you want to do a fast cut. Your second one, you do a slow cut, okay? That's good guideline on any drum.
First
okay?
cut.
So what does those numbers
slow.
indicate?
Okay.
Indicate speed.
So 16.
16's fast. Yeah. 16 is about as fast as you need to go. Okay, go ahead. And you see what he hit to lock it in? That's the feed lock. And then it goes automatically like the Pro Cut does. You look at it, and if it made a nice clean cut, you got to do it one more time on slow speed, okay? If you don't, you're going to have problems. You'll have to do one slow speed. What's nice about the fast speed is it saves you time. Sometimes you have to take 2, sometimes 3 fast cuts before you get a good finish, and then you can do it one more time.
Why do you do a fast and a slow?
Well, the fast one, get it done fast.
Right.
The slow one is to get the good
Make sure you
finish.
get everything.
Yeah. And then when you're done on top of that, you're going to go over it with emery cloth, and you're going to do a cross hatch, and you're going to take off the pattern that blade makes. Even the slowest speed will give you a slight pattern, and all you have to do, that's why there's always stuff here. You'll probably get more. I usually use the coarsest we got. You can just ask Marvin, just ask for like a ½ foot of coarse emery or crocus cloth, okay? Okay, and he'll give you, and then just leave it here. We'll just leave it here all the time. Okay, now come look. This is what it'll look like when you do your fast cut. Okay, it looks like a record player, an album. Yeah,
record.
a record. Everybody, go ahead. Everybody, look at that if you haven't seen it yet. Yeah.
It's got a lot of dust in there.
Yeah, there's a lot of dust. We're not worried about the dust.
You can feel it though too, right,
You
Craig?
can feel it. Bring your finger in here and go ahead and feel it.
Finger it. I mean,
Okay.
put your finger in.
You got Craig D laugh.
Sure, it came out.
Okay. Anyways, see that? Now, if we put that on a car right now, you know what would happen? When you applied your brake shoes, it would actually follow that record groove, and it would go slap, 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 right? So we can't have that. And that's why, go ahead and we'll fire it up again after everybody's done touching it. Okay, fire it up again, bring it in, and we're gonna do a slow cut. What? Okay. What's that? Yeah. Turn that off.
You know, just
Look at that. Okay. Now go back in. Okay. Josue's getting really good at this, so he's got the side command ready.
Just a messenger. Email.
What's that? No, it should. Well, it might vary. Okay, go ahead. Let's unlock the lock. We move the notch, one notch, and we lock the nut. Go ahead. No, you do not. You do not turn it off when you're doing these adjustments. You never want to. You only want to turn it off to do your to look at it, and you got to make sure your blade is away when you turn it off. It's like, do we figure out how much we want to cut off before we come here? We make sure we leave 2/1000 left to do a fine cut, and the answer is no. What you're going to do is when you do your measurements, you find out how much that you have left, and you do the minimum as possible. So I don't know how much I'm going to take off this until I actually take it off. So that's why I need to keep track, okay? Now, let's say there was only, let's say 10/1000 left that I could play with this, right? We know our maximum. We know how much is right there. We do the math, right? We found out there's only 10/1000 left, okay? Actually, 10/1000 left is normally not enough. We would normally be sorry. But let's, for this sake, right? Now that we know we're going to take 6/1000 off, it's going to be good. Are we still safe? We are, but not by much.
Not by much, because you got to take another 2 for quiet.
That's what we're gonna do right now. So we're pretty close, but technically it's still legal. Okay. What we don't want to do is make a mistake, make a mathematical error, spend all this time doing this, and when we're done, we measure it and we're out of specs, right? Okay. Then we wasted our time, and we gotta go tell Marvin that we have to have a new drum. He has to call the customer and say, guess what? We messed up. This is what I'm trying to not happen. If it happens, don't beat yourself up. It could happen. That's why we're in school. And I'll back you. I have your back. Okay? You're not going to get fired here, right? Okay. Okay.
Well,
but just try to
expelled.
do your best. Focus on measuring. Okay. So are we ready to hit it down?
Hit it.
Okay, turn that down. We're going to turn it down to 2.
This is the slow cut.
Yeah, all the way to 2. We got this tied, right? Yeah. Okay, go ahead, hit it. Look how slow that's going.
That's like barely
But
hitting
it's
it.
gonna make a beautiful, clean,
It's not even
precise,
hitting, though.
crisp.
You kidding?